Hi, we're live here today as activists are rallying to begin a march towards Trenton to demand an end to all new fossil fuel infrastructure, a moratorium on new construction. There's numerous projects that are being slated to be constructed throughout the state of New Jersey. So we have activists here today that are beginning a march in just a few minutes now. And I have Agnes and Matt here with me. They're going to tell us all about it.
Yeah, I'm Agnes from People Over Pipelines here in Chesterfield.
And I'm Matt Smith, Senior Organizer with Food and Water Action and Food and Water Watch.
And we're here, like you said, at Compressor Station 203, part of the Garden State Expansion Project. And it connects to the SRL, which we're here to urge and Governor Murphy to declare a moratorium on all new fossil fuel projects.
And today is particularly timely because it is the final day of the public comment period on Governor Murphy's draft energy master plan. This was the plan that Governor Murphy had touted all along the campaign trail that was supposed to get to New Jersey to 100% clean energy. Instead, when the draft came out, Governor Murphy very cynically, in a Trumpian maneuver, switched the definition of 100% clean energy to 100% carbon neutral energy, which opens up the door wide open to New Jersey, to the fossil fuel industry to continue developing new pipelines, new power plants, new compressor stations, all of which are completely unnecessary, destructive, and really are pushing us closer to climate catastrophe. So we're marching 10 miles to the Department of Environmental Protection, the Board of Public Utilities, and the State House to underscore the urgency of our climate and ecological crises. This is also the week where the next wave of global climate strikes launch. So here in New Jersey, we're getting a running start on that. For all viewers at home who want to support the marchers who are marching 10 miles to the State House for a moratorium on all fossil fuel projects and to halt construction on this Southern Reliability Link pipeline, which was allowed to proceed under Governor Murphy's watch, they can go to empowernewjersey.com. That's empowernewjersey.com. You can find the link to submit your comments, as well as suggested talking points. Again, comments are due by 12 noon today. If you miss the 12 noon comment deadline, whether you miss it or not, you should still also call the governor at 866-569-4069. And that information is also on the Empower New Jersey website.
Right.
But call the governor, email the governor, submit a comment, all for a moratorium on fossil fuel expansion projects.
And you're beginning your walk fairly soon now, right?
Yes, we are. We got to get ready, have a cup of coffee, have a couple speechifying, and then we're going to go.
All right.
And we want to thank Andy and the Bus for Progress for bringing so many people to us. Thank you very much. The bus is going to stay with us all day.
All right. And what time are you expecting to get to Trenton?
We'll be in Trenton but shortly before 3, and we'll be at the State House by 3:30 for our closing rally.
All right. If anyone wants to join you there, you'll be there around 3:30.
Yep.
Thanto you.
All right. We're just going to do a quick crowd shot
Cup
here
of
to
coffee,
see.
anyone?
Donut, coffee.
Donuts?
I bought a lot of donuts. Please.
The best part about a 10-mile march, you can eat whatever you want.
You can see we have the Bus for Progress here along the road that'll be supporting people. Oh, and some of you may recognize Mr. Tom Canavo.
Message for the governor. He's got his period full stop.
Off fossil fuels. So it should be a good march today. It's beautiful weather. I think it's going to be a high in the low 80s today.
Is that right?
Oh, let me grab that.
Yeah. At this time of year, this is exactly what this place looked like.
I don't know
It
if
gave
you
me joy every time I rode by.
This is what this area used to look
This
like
is what this exact thing looked like.
before they built this
Before they
compressor
built this
station.
one. Yes.
And what do they do with this compressor station? What exactly
Right now,
is
they're
it?
doing nothing. This is some of the wildlife down right here. These pictures were taken right here. All these pictures were taken here and along the route.
So this is the compressor station that
This is a compressor station that they built at risk because they're still being sued in court over this compressor station.
So right now this is idle, doing nothing.
Idle, doing testing, that's it.
Wow.
Waiting for the SRL, waiting for the pennies,
Okay.
which hopefully will never happen,
Right.
to bring gas here
Right.
and then to the SRL.
Was this private property at one point?
This was, yes. A farmer owned this, and they bullied him into selling with the threat of eminent domain.
Do it now for this price, or otherwise.
Right, you'll get nothing. Because this is a federal project. They segmented the SRL from the compressor station and Penn East. Otherwise, they would have had to take an effect, a cumulative effect, and for the environmental study. They didn't want to do that. So this remains part of the Penn East, which is, it crosses state lines and makes it federal. So they could threaten the eminent domain. This that we're standing on, this road belongs to Bordentown Township. It's a convenience road that they've turned into open space. And they were also threatened with eminent domain. Had they held out and used the tact that the Penn East people did, the court ruled you can't seize public lands. This is public lands. But they settled for $10,000 for an easement for the pipe to go. The pipe goes under.
Can I get a quick interview with you, Carol?
Here.
About why you're here today?
So, yeah.
All right, go ahead.
I'm Carol, and the reason I'm here today is I'm walking because I'm concerned, and I'm getting more and more concerned that our elected officials just do not understand the gravity of this situation and the seriousness of the climate crisis we face. It's, I mean, I talk to them and they say, oh, you know, we're working on it. But I said, but we need bold action. We need it now. We can't wait. The climate can't wait. The planet can't wait. So it's because of the urgency of the situation, and you know, we've got to fight to save our planet. But
We only have
also-
11 years left, right?
Right, not at 10. I think we're down to 10. And now they're introducing a resolution for a referendum for the ballot, but that's just another excuse. I mean, it's well intended, I think, because it's environmentalists that are introducing it, but it's another excuse to say, well, now let's wait for the referendum.
Kicking the can down the road.
Just like we waited for a year for this energy master plan, and it did not deliver anything that's going to stop these fossil fuel projects. And we've got to stop all these fossil fuel projects now, and that's why we're demanding a moratorium. And we've got to have this moratorium immediately, or it's too late.
Thank you for marching today.
Did you want me to add anything about workers or anything?
No, we're good. Is that Ted?
Yep.
Ted, can I grab you for an interview real quick too?
Sure.
All right, we have Ted Glick here with us.
Hi.
All right. Why are you marching today, Ted?
Well, there's lots and lots of fossil fuel projects, basically frack gas projects in the state. None of them should be happening. All of them should be stopped. We should get serious about shifting from fossil fuels, coal, oil, and gas to renewable energy. And wherever people are fighting one of these projects, if I can be there, I will be there. I'll do whatever I can to help. It's really true that it's united we stand, divided we fall. We need to join together in fighting all of these and joining with people really around the world who are fighting to shift our economies away from fossil fuel-based economies to truly clean energy, which means wind and solar, maybe some geothermal, some water-based energy, the clean energy sources. That's really crucial. It's also the way that our economy grows and creates jobs that can be good paying jobs, union jobs, many of them. The wind and solar industries are basically at the very top in terms of the fastest growing industries as far as job creation in this country, and for good reason. So it's a win-win all around. The problem is these politicians who are just afraid to do what's right. So we need to keep marching, taking action, demonstrating, sitting in, whatever it takes to force this change from below.
All right, thank you, Ted. Thank you for marching today.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for joining today's March for a Moratorium, no fossil fuel projects. So today is only for the most most committed of us, because we're marching 10 miles on a hot sunny day to underscore the urgency of our climate crisis. And we have a number of speakers here who've been in the battle, not only for a moratorium on fossil fuel projects, but for years in fighting the local fossil fuel fight right here. And I'm really excited and honored to introduce our first speaker who's been leading the local fight, Agnes Marsala from People Over Pipelines.
Hi, yes, I'm Agnes Marsala, president of People Over Pipelines from Chesterfield. You know, the other day, my 11-year-old niece asked me why I keep going to events like this, why I'm constantly running the meetings, or to speak to freeholders or committees. You know, I thought about that, and while the obvious answer is the SRL is dangerous and unnecessary, and will pass as close as 27 feet from our front doors, you know, not to mention the 25% of the man-made global warming we're experiencing right now is caused by methane emissions. I think I'm in this fight for far more personal reasons. Way back in 1978, my family's home blew up due to a gas leak. You know, I'll never forget the thunderous boom and the physical shockwave I felt. I was in my room with my sister, and sheetrock started to fall off the walls, exposing tiny bits of burning insulation. Crossing the threshold of our bedroom, as we ran towards the stairs, you know, I saw my mother's worried face looking up through the separated floorboards. Gathering outside the house, we waited for my father and brother to emerge from the basement. And as they came out of the house where the back door used to be, it was now resting against the neighbor's house. It was apparent my dad was burned on his chest and all his facial hair was gone. It turns out he was thrown across the basement, but my brother, who was manning the shut-off valve, saved us all from a fiery death. So I've marched and protested, written letters and signed petitions, attended hearings and spoken in front of commissions just like you guys for over 4 years, because I know how very dangerous methane is. You know, some people will say it was a fluke. It was 40 years ago. It can't happen now. Really? It seems to me I read of another gas explosion almost weekly. It does happen. And it seems to be happening more frequently. Which makes sense, since there are ever more pipelines with ever more dangerous methane crisscrossing our lands. We need to stop this methane madness. Governor Murphy, please declare a moratorium on all fossil fuel projects now. Thank you.
Thank you, Agnes. And our next speaker from the New Jersey Sierra Club, Jeff Tittle.
Thank you, and I just also want to thank all the activists in New Jersey. Since last Monday, there have been this is now the 6th event fighting for a moratorium or against pipelines, and hundreds of people have testified either at the Energy Master Plan hearings or showing up at a picnic on Penn East yesterday, or a rally against Roseland, or another rally against the Nessie pipeline across from Murphy's house. Hundreds of people showed up there, and of course the governor was in India instead of in New Jersey doing his job. So we're here today again to let the politicians in Trenton know that we're sick and tired of unnecessary and dangerous pipelines and polluting and dangerous compressor stations being forced down our throats, as well as these power plants that are shipping power to New York that we don't need. Today is the day where the Energy Master Plan comments are due, where New Jersey should be transitioning to 100% renewable energy by 2035, if not sooner, and zero carbon by 2050. Instead, we have an energy master plan that defines clean energy, includes small natural gas plants, carbon sequestration, which is more fossil fuels, incinerators, which pollute mostly minority and poor neighborhoods, and so on and so forth. It's our governor's version of his Trump impersonation, I guess. Say one thing and do the opposite, or change the definition so that you don't like them. And so we're here, and I'm glad everybody's going out to march, because it takes shoe leather to beat specialist interest money. And shoe leather will win as long as we keep marching and keep fighting and keep pushing together. And we're here today also because the Sierra Club, we're in court as this Pinelands Preservation Alliance on the Southern Reliability Link, and we've asked the governor to put a stay in the BPU and the Pinelands Commission, and it's fallen on deaf ears. This is a governor who says he cares about climate change and he cares about clean energy, and then when it comes to actually do something, the silence is deafening. And that's why we're here today, because we want to make sure that they hear us, that the governor hears us, even if he's in India, the BPU and DP hear us, because enough of this madness. We cannot keep going down the path we're going, given all that's happening with climate change, given all the safety issues, given all the water quality issues, all the climate issues that are related to this fossil foolishness. And we have to do it in New Jersey because we can't trust Washington. And we have to keep fighting, we have to keep marching. So this is another great day. I see a lot of friendly faces and a lot of great volunteers out, and we're just going to keep fighting and keep marching until we win. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeff. And how do folks feel? We should get a chant going to rouse our spirits up. Why don't we start with Dear Governor Murphy, moratorium now. 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 All right, well, we got to save something in the tank. It's going to be a long march on to Trenton from here. But why don't we go to our next speaker, who, without whose support and leadership, today's march would not be possible, at least not as big and as bold as we're prepared to make it, and who's constantly, whether it's been fighting LNG exports off the Jersey Shore or unnecessary pipelines in the Pinelands, has been with us every step of the way. Let's give a warm welcome to Andy Coleman from the Bus for Progress.
How we all doing, guys? Thank you all for being here. I want to thank Matt, I want to thank Jocelyn, I want to thank Agnes, I want to thank Eric for making this great event happen today. This is an epic adventure we're about to set off on today. So my name is Andy. I'm known as Andy the bus driver with the Bus for Progress, and I want to continue to talk about Governor Murphy, and I want to say a couple of things to Governor Murphy, and I hope he's watching later on today. So let me ask you guys, how many of you guys voted for Governor Murphy in 2017? Okay, most of you, okay. Well, I think I know why you voted for him, because he promised us clean energy by 2050, right?
Real clean energy.
And we were excited when he put out his energy master plan and we could finally read it. And we started reading it, and there were some good things in it. Good things like wind energy, good things like for transportation, good things for making homes and businesses more energy efficient. But then as you read it farther, you start to see the caveats for the natural gas industry. We just want the governor to know that natural gas is not clean energy.
Right.
It is not clean energy. In fact, 85% of natural gas that arrives at your house is made of methane. And methane is 30 times plus more damaging to the atmosphere than CO2. Plus, we all know where the natural gas is coming from. It's coming from the poor fracked towns in Pennsylvania across the river. And scientists are also realizing that throughout the process of the gas being fracked from the ground, from it being refined, from it going through booster stations, by going through the laterals, 5% of the gas that arrives at your house is already leaked into the atmosphere. So I want to ask you guys another question. How many people here had a chance to attend one of the hearings for the Clean Energy Plan? Okay, great. A lot of you guys did. Awesome. So I was thinking about it. I attended too. I was thinking about it. It's kind of a microcosm of New Jersey. You walk into the Clean Energy Plan and you see a couple people in really nice suits. And, you know, gold watches, really nice dresses. Good-looking guy, too. That one guy, yeah, really good-looking. And you knew who they were, right? And they got up one at a time, and they thanked the governor, and they gave a wink to the panel, like, hey, guys, remember how much money we have, and we're going to support the governor, right? And then the rest of the room was 90% of folks just like us, wearing T-shirts, right? And we're there because we don't want another Hurricane Sandy. We're there because we want a good future for our kids. And we're there because we don't want a compressor station in our backyard, right?
Yeah.
So the question I have for Governor Murphy is, do you want to be a governor of those nicely dressed 10% folks with lots of money? Or do you want to be the governor of all the rest of us?
With votes.
They may have the money, but we have the people and we have the votes.
Right.
So let me ask you guys again. Now, if the governor were to become a champion for climate change, who would vote for him then? If he becomes a real climate change champion, all right, so most of us will.
Prove it.
I was going to say
It will work against him if he doesn't.
Exactly. So, with the exception of a few mountains in northern Jersey, New Jersey really is just a flat sandbar surrounded by water. And we're 243 years old, but scientists tell us that we have about another 50 years before we start going underwater. So the question I have for the governor is, do you want to be just another governor who sends New Jersey under the waves? Or do you want to be the first governor who stands up, makes a real plan, stands up against the fossil fuel industry and starts to really fight climate change for real? There are 15 natural gas projects happening right now across the state. We demand that the governor stop all of them right now. Especially this one right here. We demand 100% moratorium on fossil fuel projects. Today we march, and today we will be heard. So let me just end by saying that I want you guys to meet Kathy. Kathy, raise your hand. And Marianne, who's right over there, my co-pilot today on the Bus for Progress. So the bus is going to be joining us for the entire day. We're going to drive a mile ahead, set up water and snacks, and then we're going to drive the next mile and a half and set up again, because Eric did a really great job with organizing this map today. So feel free to hop on the bus. If you guys want to take a break for the next leg of the march and ride with us, you certainly can. So come see us for some cold water. There's a restroom in the bus, and we have snacks. And again, thank you all for being here so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Andy. And now it's my pleasure to bring up another key member of the Empower New Jersey Coalition, Doug O'Malley from Environment New Jersey.
Thank you, Matt. And thank you to each and every one of you that's here right now. Because for too many of us, we've been on this ground. And I want to thank Agnes and everyone, people over pipelines. Because this did not used to be a gas compressor station. This used to be a beautiful farm field. This used to be a forested area. This was not part of Gasland. And when we think about what we're fighting for, we're fighting to make sure that things like this, gas infrastructure, pipelines, power plants, don't become commonplace all across this state. And I wanted to thank Andy for all his work, and especially for his comments, because for anyone that did go to the Energy Master Plan hearings, there were a lot of suits, especially last week in Camden at 1 o'clock. It was suit after suit after suit, lobbyists after lobbyists after lobbyists, customers of PSE&G. You could almost see the checks being written from our utilities to people that were testifying. And you could hear the gas industry saying, we don't want a bridge to clean energy. We want a bridge to natural gas, not just for this decade, not just for the next decade, but forever. They talked about something called renewable natural gas, which, I mean, I don't know if there's a greater euphemism out there. And of course, our problem is that the gas industry is not the only people saying it. The Energy Master Plan remains silent. My shirt says clean. This is from a decade ago. It should be assumed when we talk about 100% clean energy, it's 100% renewable clean energy. And every other state in the country that's moved forward with a 100% clean energy standard has included clean, renewable energy as part of that mandate. So New Jersey can't be an aberration. If we're going to be the greenest state in the union, we need to say no to fossil fuels. We need to say yes to renewables. And that starts right here. Because guess who's not marching with us today? Larry Downs from New Jersey Natural Gas, or any of those suits that we saw at the Energy Master Plan hearing. They think the fix is in. They have even joked about the Energy Master Plan process and complained people could literally show up wearing sandals and testify as long as they can. Well, guess what? This is a democracy, and we have more votes than the natural gas lobby.
And more sandals.
And more sandals, that's for sure.
T-shirts.
And certainly a lot better t-shirts. And this is a reminder that wherever you are in the state fighting a fossil fuel project, this isn't just a Democratic issue or a Republican issue. This is about our hometowns. This is about our backyards. This is about our air quality. It's about our public lands. It's about the pinelands. And I guess I wanted to wrap up by talking about political leadership, because we're fighting against SRL for so many reasons. For safety, for the climate, but also for the pinelands, an area that was protected more than 40 years ago by Governor Brendan Byrne. And Brendan Byrne did more than just sign a bill. Brendan Byrne declared a moratorium.
What did he declare? What was that?
He declared a moratorium. He declared a moratorium on all new development in the pinelands. Did he have the legal authority to do that? Hell yes, he did. And he did because the power of the New Jersey governorship is so immense that the governor moved forward. He declared a moratorium, and guess who was in the streets of Trenton 40 years ago? It was the building trades saying you can't do that. Well, guess what? He did. And the legislature passed a bill, and we got the New Jersey pinelands. And we got a national reserve that stopped development, that stopped pipelines. That's the future that activists a generation ago fought for. That's the future that we're fighting for now. And we need Governor Murphy and his administration, his energy master plan, to acknowledge the climate science, to listen to the IPCC, and say that this is not a question of a moratorium or not. This is a question about reducing our carbon emissions by close to half over the next decade. So of course you need to do a moratorium. Of course we can't have more things like this.
That's right.
That's why we're here, and I just want to thank each and every one of you for joining us on this fight, because we have the facts on our side and we have the people on our side. So thank you.
Thank you, Doug. So we're going to step off in just a couple of short minutes. Just to, again, reiterate, we do have a 10-mile march into Trenton. Our final destination is the New Jersey State House, where we'll be rallying at 3:30 p.m. Today so that our elected officials in Trenton can hear our demands for a moratorium on fossil fuel projects and a livable climate future. And we will be stopping at the Department of Environmental Protection and the Board of Public Utilities on our march through Trenton to sound the climate alarm and say that any energy master plan that doesn't get us as quickly as possible off of fossil fuels and onto truly clean renewable energy sources is not worth the paper it's written on. So I wanted to make one last announcement, which is I think we want to take one more group photo of all of us together with our signs. So as soon as I stop talking on the bullhorn, we'll line up along here in a couple rows and try to get a couple of our best photos. And then lastly, I just wanted to close because I feel like so many of us are inspired by the young people, from Oliver, who's running around here somewhere, joining the march today, to 16-year-old Greta Thunberg, who traveled to the United States on a sailboat to launch the next round of global climate strikes this week on Friday. And I'm sure all of us are excited about joining a climate strike action near us. And I just want to say that, you know, Greta reminds us that we need to act as if our house is on fire, because it is. And that's the urgency of now. And for us in New Jersey, that means that we need to spread faster than the southern pine beetle that's infiltrating our pinelands forests. We need to rise up faster than the sea levels along the Jersey Shore, which are rising faster than anywhere else. And we need to be the people-powered movement to affect the change for a livable and healthy future for us and for all future generations. So that's why we march today. Let's carry that with us, and let's gather for a quick photo before we step off. Thank you all.
All right, now everybody march by me like you're getting ready to leave. It'll look really cool.
We don't have to act like it.
Yeah, cheer. Woo! Here we go.
No more fossil fuels. 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 No more.
Oh, I didn't need to
Moratorium.
Sorry about that.
Probably running.